Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the 3PL Summit. I'm excited to be joined for a great conversation today by Turvo's Chief Revenue Officer, Luis Pajares. Hi, Luis. It's great to have this chat with you here today at the 3PL Summit about a very hot topic in the supply chain. Actually, two: customer experience and I really love your thoughts about visibility, so I want to get that in there too. But these are two big fat words in the supply chain. If you ask 10 people in the supply chain, hey, you might get 10 different answers. So you've had a storied career around technology use in business, and as you've now come to Turvo, a provider of the world's leading collaboration application designed specifically for the supply chain, I think you've done a great job at identifying perhaps a different look at visibility and customer experience in the supply chain. So I'd love to hear your perspective on how you view visibility and customer experience from your seat now at Turvo.
Well, thank you, Adam. Thank you for having me on the FreightWaves 3PL fireside chat here. I'll start first with the supply chain and software that has served the supply chain has always been optimized around particular functions. TMS systems are really good at building shipments, and warehouse management systems are really good at managing the warehouse, and ERP systems for financial settlement and things like that. But never really in the supply chain has anybody thought about how the supply chain and the software that supports it impacts customer experience. And that's what we're doing at Turvo, and we're very excited about that. Now, when you talk about visibility, I'm going to pose it back to you, Adam. Why do our customers, our listeners out there today, why are they wanting to solve the visibility dilemma?
Well, I think they're trying to get a better handle on where's my freight. But I think that might stop short. And you could say, well, what about the processes too? And visibility could have a lot of legs. So it's a tough one to question, really, or answer, really. So how do you see it?
And well, because they want to find where their freight is, because who cares?
The customer.
Their customers.
That's right.
Their customers care. So if you're a 3PL, and if you're listening out there, and your shipper customers saying, look, I want to do business with you. I want you to manage my warehouse management. I want you to do my shipments. I want you to do my managed transportation, but I don't know where my things are. Well, you'd have a really tough time winning a lot of business. So really, visibility is another one of those symptoms that 3PLs think about in order to provide a better customer experience. And at Turvo, we just approached it differently. How we not only solve the visibility problem, the symptom, but the root cause that lack of visibility creates, all to drive a better customer experience.
Well, but let's talk about the, elephant in the room here, Luis. You could say that today's modern TMS does that, and it's connected through API on the WMS side. And order management has gotten really specific, and people are maybe doing a good job at this. And, I think the expectations are really driving some of this activity, especially with platforms that are coming up like Turvo. And, I really like to think about, when I'm going into Nordstrom's and I buy something that doesn't fit me, and that happens often, especially with an e-commerce driven kind of economy that we're in. They do a really nice job at accepting my returns. And I just come away thinking, man, Nordstrom's has a lot of value, and I think what's happening because of that huge boom, brands are starting to see that this is a differentiation for them. And, they're taking that same mindset that maybe has been around customer service and really taking it upstream and how logistics plays into their experience as well. And, 3PLs are really using this as a way to become partners with brands and really help them out. And I know Turvo has customers in the 3PL space currently that are leveraging Turvo, with this mindset. So can you tell us a bit about how your 3PL customers are implementing and using Turvo to really help their brand stand out and enhance the customer experience?
Our 3PL customers want to work in a better way, in a digital way, with their customer to drive a better customer experience. So Turvo, we talk about collaboration. If you think about other areas like Uber as an example, right? What did Uber do? Uber solved an experience problem by digitizing and index every available car, every driver, their location, the price, where you're at, where you want it to go. And then they put it together in a way where it drove a better experience for you, Adam, to go hail a cab, right? When was the last time we went outside in the rain, raised our arm up looking for a yellow cab with a light on? We don't do that anymore because the experience that Uber has given us is a much better experience. And that's what we're doing with our 3PL customers. We're working with our 3PL customers to work not only within their four walls, digitizing, indexing all the data in their supply chain, their TMS, their warehouse management, ELD, ERP, and even point visibility solutions. And because we're indexing it, we're bringing, think about it, we're bringing about visibility to what's happening to their customers' experience. But then we go further because once we've digitized the entire supply chain, we can start collaborating in a digital way with our customers.
Well, what does that really mean, though? You know what I mean? Like, so many people sit here and say, I want to collaborate better. And, as a marketer, I get that. We have a multidisciplined job. There's a lot of channels to push our messaging to. We have to create content and work across multiple sectors of the business. And so we're really adept at that. And we also have sort of a secret weapon. We aren't necessarily hitting hard and fast deadlines where delivering the end product may make or break our revenue. But the supply chains, they don't have that kind of, opportunity. They can't stop. They have to continue to deliver. And so when you have all of these fast moving processes in a very volatile freight market, and then you're asked to really start using some technology to think about how can I leverage it as a 3PL to make myself appear as a partner? Well, you bring in that collaboration aspect. And what Turvo has done is really gone further upstream, I think, than some traditional TMS. TMS usually is ready to create my bill of lading and execute and get it out the door. That's a pretty tactical thing if you think about it. But when you go up to that order level aspect that you guys are doing, all the way through that cash and settlement payment wrapped around amazing analytics, and then you make it easier for the trading partners to come into that platform, as you guys have done so well at, really true collaboration can happen that mirrors what we've been doing in marketing. So, as supply chains are trying to make change and transform digitally, collaboration at scale could be difficult, but that's kind of what you guys are taking head on. So why is collaboration at the heart of ultimately driving the good customer experience that you've mentioned today?
Because by just the sheer definition of collaboration, you're working with your customer in a more automated digital way. The key to collaboration is if your customer and you, the 3PL, and your carriers were in the same room and managing that order to cash workflow as if it was a team sport. Going back to the way that supply chain software has been built, right? It was built around operational functions. And what Turvo does is it brings a new approach to thinking about running your supply chain and the software that supports it with the customer first. So an example of collaboration, your customer, call it Pottery Barn, sends you a 3PL an order to move some of the freight, maybe all the way to your home, Adam. You bought a bed frame and you're having it delivered. Well, collaboration allows for that order to start at the consumer, through Pottery Barn, through the 3PL, through the carrier, the last mile. And when it gets to your home, the white glove concierge service sets it up for you. And all of that is happening in a digital automated way. Now go back to where we started about visibility, right? We're always asking about how can I solve the visibility problem when the goods are in the warehouse or when it's on the full truckload or the less than truckload, or in the distribution center, or in the last mile. And again, our approach is digitize everything in your supply chain, digitize everything along with your customer. And once you digitize it, then you start sharing and collaborating, communicating in real time. And it goes back to that Uber example. Could you imagine if the application required you to EDI a pick me up order to the driver driving a Camry? All of that is eliminated once you digitize and you can start sharing.
Well, I'd probably delete the app and maybe pick up Lyft if that's what they made me do. And I tell you what, I ain't going outside in that cold Minnesota weather when I'm a Texas boy. And I've had to do that a few times with negative 30 degrees. But I'm also thankful that they have solved that customer issue. It's all, tracking via real-time GPS. I know exactly who's coming, when they're coming, and I can hang out in the warm airport and not get too cold. So, before, we end our conversation today, reimagining that customer experience. You guys have some pretty cool customers. One of them is Lineage Logistics. And I thought what was really interesting is they raised a bunch of money recently. And I asked their CIO, what percentage of cold goods touches and goes through your supply chain? And they said 34% goes through their supply chain. And they're using Turvo to power all of that. So really, when you reimagine it from that top level, using Turvo to enable it, you might be literally touching 34% of some of those goods. And is that the network effect at play that's going to help that experience be reimagined ultimately?
Well, the network effect, again, I'm just going to simply call that collaborating with their customers. So you're right. So Lineage and Lineage Link, powered by Turvo, is allowing Lineage to go to their customers and have complete, I'm going to say the word, visibility and actionability. Not only from their inventory, their warehousing, and their shipments, but how Lineage helps one of their customers deliver to their end customer and then communicate that in a digital way. So Lineage is on fire. Yeah, I saw where they raised another $1.9 billion. We've been partnering with Lineage now for about 3 years. And we're in over 60 warehouse facilities and growing that to over 300 facilities globally just, in the next 12 months.
Oh, that's an exciting time for both of you, everyone involved, really. I can't believe we get paid to kind of do this sort of stuff that makes such an impact on our day-to-day lives, really. And, one of the things that I really find just really exciting as well in this space is that, at my brief time where I worked at Turvo and now over here on the Sonar side, it was fun to see the shared customers that we have between us. And the thing that really stood out to me in all of those customer profiles is that they put the experience of their end customer first, whether it's a 3PL or a freight broker. They come to Sonar because they understand that technology is going to augment my culture and my human capital to be as hyper efficient as possible, all in the quest of delivering that experience. So it seems like, you really have some forward thinking customers who understand that large vision. So have you found it difficult to convince people to have that vision? Or are they coming to you with that vision already? Or is it a little bit of both? And then how do you get them to, have that partnership mindset? So by extension, that 3PL is seen as a partner to their end customer.
Yeah, so there are different 3PLs out there. There are 3PLs like Lineage, another visionary 3PL out there, Ryder. They see that the world is digitizing. And again, I try not to use the word digital transformation because when I think about digital transformation, you think about tens or hundreds of millions of dollars and, lots of time to implement and change things. When you think about reimagining your supply chain, you're talking about architecting the systems that you still have in a better way. So again, not building siloed systems and then building data lakes and control towers and then EDIing them together. It's all about, what we've learned from Facebook and LinkedIn is that there's technology today that allows for many to collaborate in a digital way. And that's what Turvo leverages. So our approach is think about how you architect your supply chain. Think about bringing all your data into one place indexing, and then collaborating. So your question, what kind of reaction do we get from some customers? Some 3PLs contend that building their own solution is still the right approach. And while I respectfully disagree with that, I think last year, Silicon Valley invested $52 billion in supply chain companies. That's $52 billion of R&D and innovation that you have to compete with. So a lot of 3PLs have a lot of intellectual property that's key to them. That's where they should think about investing their R&D dollars to do what they do really well, to differentiate. But when it comes to working with your customers, take advantage of cloud, take advantage of peer-to-peer sharing applications out there. Look at us, we're on a Zoom application of some sort, and we're collaborating digitally. We're not in analog face-to-face. And when we talk about this, when we Turvo talk about this, we're just talking about modernizing the way you architect your supply chain, taking advantage of technology that's now available, and future-proofing, because once you put in the right modern architecture, as new microservices comes about, you can then continue to grow your services in a very scalable way. I like to say this. We didn't go to the moon in 1950 because the rocket engines that existed in the 50s were not powerful enough to get us to the moon and back. But today in supply chain, the software is powerful enough to modernize and reimagine and let collaboration, digital collaboration, be the way that you architect your supply chain.
Yeah, that's right. And it's
long answer for you.
Well, it's an important answer. I think that it's been a long but a fast transformation of the supply chain. Here's what I mean by that. 10 years, relatively speaking, is not a long time. But when you market and sell and develop technology to sell to a market, it feels like ages. But 10 years ago, 3PL, freight broker, not as great of a reputation. But the infusion of technology, the changing of markets, the volatility that has been created because of the complexity of the supply chain has really put the onus on, not only the tech providers, but I would largely say the 3PLs who use that tech, like Turvo, to make that...
Especially the 3PLs.
Especially, because they're the ones who are going to be able to bridge the gap between all of those players, shippers and carriers, and do that fine dance. And they're arming up, and they're starting to see, when I can help my customer win, and I can collaboratively work in this environment with carriers or with supply chain people, with procurement on the inbound, with sales on the outbound, heck, even work with marketing and customer service. That full collaboration coming from a culture of a 3PL who wants to make a difference and be a strategic partner, it ends up that all of us benefit. It's a fantastic thing because us consumers continue to get catered to, which is an exciting thing because we all get to have a great experience. And like my example of not freezing out in the Minnesota cold, get to stay in the warm and fuzzy and have a good time. So at the end of the day, Turvo is on that mission. It's been really, really fun to watch the company, both on the inside and now here supporting at FreightWaves. So Luis, where can everybody find a little bit more information about Turvo and what you guys are doing to help 3PLs out there in the marketplace?
Yeah, so thank you, Adam, again for having us on this fireside chat. Yeah, you can find us at www.turvo.com. And the last thing I'll leave you with, thought for all the 3PL listeners out there, is every 3PL has trucks. Every 3PL has warehouses. Every 3PL has a TMS and a WMS and probably multiple visions. So what are you going to do to differentiate and help and grow your business by helping your customer grow business? And that's the point that I'd like to leave your listeners with, is rethinking, reimagining how you think about how your business helps your customer experience. And in that area, we can help you at Turvo.
That's right. And as Luis said, let's shoot for the moon. Let's take our moonshot in the supply chain. The here is now. So thanks so much, everybody at the 3PL Summit, and we'll see you throughout the show.
Thank you.